Hey everyone, welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. I'm your host, Che Dorena. We've all lost something in our lives. Our phone, our keys, our patience for the person who wants to have a full conversation with the cashier while there's a huge line behind them. But all these things are pretty small when you're looking at the big picture. Well, I wanted to know what are some of the more substantial things that have gone missing. So I put together today's list of top 10 scary items that went missing in history. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Also, follow Most Amazing Top 10 on Instagram and Facebook, and stick around for the number one on the list because I bet you have no idea what it is. I had never even heard of it before making this list, and without taking any longer, let's get into it. Number 10. The Settlers of Roanoke. Man, back in the day, if you wanted to pack up and leave, you just could. You didn't need to buy a plane ticket. You just got on a horse and then you were gone. Hopefully you didn't get bitten by a rattlesnake or eaten by a bear. That might have been what happened here in 1587 when the governor of Roanoke Island set out to sea to get supplies. He was super unlucky and got caught in the crossfire between two rival fleets. Now, it didn't kill him, but it did slow his journey down a lot. It took him 3 years to make it back. Man, 3 years just trying to get home? That's like when Enzo was caught in the web in Reboot. I don't think any of you understood that reference. Well, when he got back, he was pretty shocked because it seemed like everything had changed. His wife, his kids, the entire village was gone. No trace. Not even a note that said, "We left some dried salmon for you in the kitchen for when you get back." Everything was kaput. Number 9. Richard Serra's sculpture. Okay, so Richard Serra is like one of the best sculptors around. He could recreate David if he wanted to. The man is pure genius. He had one of his famous pieces put in a museum, but after some time the museum needed renovations. So they took this giant statue and moved it into storage, and this thing was huge. It was 92,000 pounds. So it's not just going anywhere. I'm pretty sure Captain America couldn't even move it on his own. You need to get some serious machinery to get this thing going anywhere. The renovations took some time, so the giant slab was just sitting in storage for around 15 years. When the renos were done, they went to bring this thing back to the museum, but it was gone. Yeah, that's right. A 42-ton statue went missing out of nowhere, and nobody could find out where it went. Richard Serra made another one, but the mystery was never solved and the statue was never found. Number 8. Missing crew. So back in 1872, a boat known as the Mary Celeste went on a voyage from New York. It had a rock-solid crew with enough supplies to last 6 months. These guys were ready to set sail and not look back. But after about 10 days, the ship was spotted 1,000 miles off the coast of Portugal. It seemed like no one was on board. Where was the rock-solid crew? Where was the ready to sail and not look back attitude? Well, the Portuguese people sent out to go see what was going on the ship. When they got on board, every person was gone, like every last person vanished. The weird thing is that their belongings were still on the ship and they still had a load of supplies. There was no explanation of where these people disappeared to. There are some theories that maybe they got sucked up by aliens or they all got some crazy sickness and then started jumping overboard. But there was one clue. One of the lifeboats was missing, but it's just very strange that all of them would leave on one lifeboat and not take any of their belongings with them. Number 7. Missing planes. I think everything is cool about being a fighter pilot except for the part where you have to kill people and the part where people are trying to kill you. Really, I think it's only cool to fly a fighter jet. It goes really fast and I like simple things. Well, in 1945, a couple of fighter planes went out for a test flight. They were taking off from Lauderdale, Florida, and the test flight was supposed to take 2 hours. Only an hour and a half goes by and the control center started to get a bunch of distress calls from the pilots. Then everything goes dark, after which the military waited a few hours for them to make it back. A few hours seems like a long time to wait, but also I have no idea about military protocol, so I'm just gonna shut up on this one. When the pilots never came back, they sent out a massive search to see if they could find any sign of the missing pilots. There was nothing. It's suspected that they got lost somewhere in the Bermuda Triangle, the spookiest place on earth if you watched a lot of cartoons in the early 2000s. Number 6. King John's treasure. Dude, this is a major L for King John. He lost it all in one day. This is like when a big time celebrity signs to do a DC movie. Everything just goes down after that. If you don't know about King John, the dude was a baller. He had loads of wealth. He could basically swim through it. But he was also a dick, so he created a lot of enemies. And one day, he pissed off the wrong people and he had to make a break for it. He was trying to cross the River Nine, what is known today as the Wash. While doing this, he had his army transporting an insane amount of treasure. Well, his boys weren't very good at protecting it because all his precious treasure got washed away. It's estimated that $70 million worth of goods got sunk to the bottom of the river, and to this day, it has never been recovered. No one has ever found a piece of this thing. Even just the smallest part could get you set for life. Why am I here doing this? Put me in some scuba gear, get me down there so I can get rich. Number 5. The San Miguel Shipwreck. Well, I think that what we're going to learn from this list, that if you want to keep a bunch of gold safe, don't let it get close to water because it's going to disappear forever. The San Miguel Shipwreck was once a fleet of Spanish ships that were carrying enough gold to fix all of Spain's money problems that were happening back in the 1700s. The plan was to move the gold from the tropical island of Cuba to the Spanish coast. So the Spanish loaded up all this gold in some big old boats, and just 7 days after the ships left the coast, they were hit by a major storm and all of them sank. If we cut to the present, divers have been digging around the waters where the ships might have gone down and have been striking it big. Thousands of gold coins have been recovered from the ocean floor. Once again, what am I doing here? I should be in a skin-tight wetsuit, raking the ocean floor, trying to get Papa some gold. Number 4. Secret City of Paititi. Man, the Incas really knew how to ball out. They put gold on everything. They were doing Trinidad James way before he had one hit and fell off the map. Could you imagine being an Inca back in the day? Every day you woke up, you put on gold slippers, you walked out of your gold house, you kissed your gold wife on the lips. Obviously, I really don't know the specifics of how the Incas lived, but I just know they had a lot of gold. Well, the secret city of Paititi is apparently a lost Incan city somewhere in the Peruvian rainforest, and it's said that most of the city is made entirely of gold. Its existence was discovered by an Italian archaeologist, and since then, hundreds of expeditions have happened in an attempt to find this city. So far, no luck. Small items have been found, but never the real deal. We would actually need to tear down the rainforest in order to find this thing probably, so for now it's gonna have to stay hidden. I like orangutans way too much. Number 3. Flight MH370. This one is so new it's probably still fresh in everyone's memory. Back on March 8th, 2014, there was a passenger flight taking off from Malaysia and headed right to China. Well, it was supposed to head right to China, but it seemed that somewhere along the way, something went wrong. Out of nowhere, the flight went missing. Like, no crash, it didn't do a detour, like the flight could not be found at all. Several search parties sent out, but each was unsuccessful in finding a trace of the missing plane. Since then, there have been small pieces of rubble collected from the ocean floor that potentially could be connected to the ship, but nothing official. I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories about this one, like maybe aliens again, or there are other ones that the Chinese government shot the plane out of the sky. I even heard that the plane was destroyed because it was carrying the cure to HIV. Who really knows? Number 2. Frederick VALENTICK. Other than having a bomb name, Frederick VALENTICK was an Australian pilot, and one day on a test flight, him and his aircraft just disappeared. Now, stuff like this has happened before. I mean, we've had this kind of thing already happening on this list. But what makes this one so good is that right before Freddie went missing, he had one final transmission. In this transmission, he said he could see a UFO, so maybe he didn't go missing. Maybe he got picked up by some supreme being, now he's flying across the universe smoking space weed. There's a bunch of Australian Frederick VALENTICK truthers that think he's still out there somewhere, or that the truth about him is being hidden from the public. I mean, he could still be out there, or maybe the UFO just vaporized him and now he's just dust in the wind. Number 1. The Amber Room. Man, most of this list just makes me wish I could be rich enough to lose the stuff that these people have lost and still be financially stable. The Amber Room is one of the craziest, most expensive things ever lost, and it's a whole room. How do you lose a goddamn room? Well, let's give you a little backstory. The room was designed by Andreas Schultzer and was covered wall to wall in the purest amber and gold picture frames and gold mirror frames. This was built in Prussia between 1701 in 1709. When the Germans came to invade the Soviets in World War II, the Soviets disassembled the room and wrapped it in wallpaper to make it seem like a normal room. But they disguised it so good that no one knows where the room is today. Well, that's what they tell us. I bet Putin's sitting in the Amber Room right now making deals with the aliens. Well everyone, that's our list. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Also, follow Most Amazing Top 10 on Instagram and Facebook. It's a great way to get to know myself and the other hosts just a little bit better. Until next time, I've been FREDERICK, and you can catch me not losing anything because I can't afford to lose anything. Bye.